alongside the intersections, or rather alongside the pavements, etc. And it was quite an upsetting sight. And especially, one wonders, is there going to be any of any is there going to be any cleaning of these things? What's going to happen? Because they're just growing out of control. It's there for the last 3 to 4 months. And I'm just hoping that somebody can address the situation. But coming back to Rise and Shine and what's happening, the World Health Organization, the WHO, reports a sharp rise in newborn deaths in Gaza. Newborn mortality is rising sharply in the Gaza Strip, with babies being born underweight, the World Health Organization said, citing medics on the ground. WHO spokesperson Margaret Harris said at a briefing in Geneva that at Kamal Adwan, the only pediatric hospital in northern Gaza, at least 15 malnourished children are coming in per day, and the needs are just getting ever more severe. The WHO is unable to establish precise statistics on child mortality because of the devastation in the Palestinian territory after 6 months of war between Israel and Hamas, with Harris saying that many people do not even get to hospital. Again, a very, very sad state of affairs. South Africa faces 17% water deficit in 2030. Experts are warning that South Africa is headed for a 17% water deficit by 2030. Ailing infrastructure is at the center of the country's water problems. The country has about 824 treatment works, but half of them are out of commission. As government explores ways to address the crisis, the private sector is willing to step in with innovative solutions. Siemens recently released a report titled Pictures of Transformation. Part of the report focuses on the measures needed to achieve sustainability in the water and sanitation industry by 2040. Political parties vow upcoming polls won't have disruptions, intimidation, unfair electioneering. A total of 52 parties will contest for seats in the National Assembly in what's been described as the most competitive and most volatile election since 1994. With over a month to go to the 29th May polls, there are renewed fears that the democratic process will be overshadowed by dirty politics. Chairperson of the IEC, Moseto Mupia, said the signing of the Electoral Code of Conduct was significant for the upcoming elections. And the end of captive breeding will help battle against poaching. The Endangered Wildlife Trust says the phased ending of the captive breeding sector could help improve the poaching crisis. Minister of the Environment, Barbara Creasy, unpacked the policy position on elephant, lion, leopard and rhinoceros conservation in Cape Town. The new policy was approved by Cabinet. Simon Jones from the organization Helping Rhino believes closing down the industry is a good thing in the long term. Well, I did say that it is the 26th of Ramadan, 1445. I just remember the other day we were preparing for Ramadan and of course setting up the program for the moon sighting for Ramadan, etc. And we almost at the end. But let's make the best of what's left. And inshallah ta'ala, I'm sure, we will achieve maximum spirituality.
Understands that Ramadan is a time for celebrating with family and friends. So make gathering for iftar even more special by coming to Spur to enjoy 150-gram cheddar malt steak, 4 Durkee buffalo wings, 2 crispy chicken samosas, and a delicious glass of Faluda for only $189.90. Only available at participating halal Spur restaurants. T's and C's apply. Spur, people with a taste for life.
Halim distribution will take place on Saturdays at 1:30 p.m. at the Sparks Road Muhammadiyah Masjid, as well as the Al Ansar Hall at 189 West Road. And on Sundays at 12:30 p.m. at Capital Air, 176 Brickfield Road, Overport. Proudly brought to you by the Capital Group of Companies.
Sparkport Pharmacy's phenomenal specials to take you through the remainder of Ramadan. Turbovite XL 20 sachets, 2 for 169.90. Gaviscon Liquid 300 mils for 129.90. Future Life Original 500 grams, 3 for 109.90. Life Gain 1 kg assorted for 339 rand 90. Sparkport, your pathway to sparkling health, late night and online shopping, free deliveries and our loyalty program. Sparkport for all your healthcare needs. Contact us on 031 207 1011 or visit our website at www.sparkport.co.za. Sparkport, your trusted friend for 40 years.
Capital Air, KZN's leading brand in air conditioning. Voted #1 by the Daily News Reader's Choice for quality, service and price. Call 031 209 4415 or visit our showrooms Capital Air, Capital Decor and Cater Cook.
From majestic Marrakesh to dazzling Dubai, incredible Istanbul to the luxury of London, La Sultana Couture brings you a range of modest wear made for the woman who knows who she is and what she wants. Abayas, two-piece sets, and glamorous evening wear. Whether it be day wear, evening wear, or glammed up special occasions, La Sultana Couture has it all. Come visit us on the upper level Sunway Center, 65 Overport Drive. We look forward to meeting you.
Want to know where everyone's getting their tires at the best prices? Where else but Moore's Tires and Exhaust, your RMI approved service center. Specialists in rims, tires, exhausts, fitment, balancing, alignment, batteries, and servicing. From tire repairs to engine tune-ups, trust our expert team to keep your car running smoothly. Pop into Moore's Tires and Exhaust, 914 Umgeni Road, Durban, or call 031 303 7783. Moore's Tires and Exhaust, your one-stop fitment center.
Radio Al Ansar, Durban, 90.4 FM. Peter Maritzburg, 105.6 FM.
Let's call into God's way, the word to be obeyed. The bright moon in the valley of darkness. طلع البدر علينا من ثنيات الوداع وجب شكر علينا ما دعا لله داع. أيها المبعوث فينا جئت بالأمر المطاع جئت شرفت المدينة مرحبا يا خير داع. His eyes slowly rising, sunrise warms the horizon, sand dunes form in the distance. He's up and out in an instant. The crowd, they all were waiting, watching and anticipating. A man appears from afar. Could he be the one sent by Allah?
You're listening to Rise and Shine on Radio Al Ansar with myself, Faizal, MJ, Suleman. Yes, it is another beautiful Saturday morning, and it's all happening here at the Al Ansar studio. Tomorrow's a great day, inshallah ta'ala, and of course, we will be hosting what we're calling an Eid special, and this is hosted by the Sunday Lounge and the Sanai Muhammad programs together. And we have online Salma Qazi Wahab, the presenter of the Sunday Lounge, and she's going to talk to us about this Eid special that everyone's all excited about tomorrow. Salma, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and thank you for joining me on the program this morning.
Wa alaikum salam, Mr. Faizal Suleman. Don't you sound bright and chirpy on a Saturday morning? How wonderful.
Yeah, well, it's a wonderful feeling, Saturday morning, getting up early. And of course, coming to the studio as it's a beautiful day outside. And when I come in, I see a beautiful poster saying, live, the Sunday Lounge and Sanai Muhammad Eid special with live reciters. I said, I must get hold of you and ask you to talk to us about this event.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. I'm so excited to talk about it as well. We just confirmed it this week. It was not something planned in advance. Like if people have been listening to the Sunday Lounge programs for Ramadan, my intention was to try and interact with as many people as possible. I had guest presenters on the program, presenters from different shows. We had different people bring in different things like dates and Palestinian food and bahurs. And it was just the whole Ramadan atmosphere we tried to bring into studio and to the listener at home. We shared some stories of radio memories and highlights and what Ramadan means to everybody. And I thought, how could I culminate it in a way that it comes to a beautiful close and we leave on the high with which we started as well. And we really reminisce and enjoy the month. And I thought, what reciters are here, I'm going to pick up the phone and get them all into studio. But as the reciters confirmed, like Qari Idris Rajab, there's another reciter who I had on my show previously, and he sang all the popular nasheeds, sung by Muhammad Tariq, Muhammad Yusuf, and all the popular ones that people know. His name is Qari Suleman. He will also be there. And then I had a good chat with my uncle, Hafiz Muhammad Rashid Qazi, who hasn't been on in a while, and he hosts the Sanai Muhammad program that's usually on the Sunday evening. And most of the requests that I get is for Urdu Naat as well, to feature in between the Arabic. So I'm appeasing those that always do request Urdu. And I said, I'm having this special show where he will also feature, and he will recite some of his most popular Naat. And then he's roped in two of his reciters who will also be a part of the show. But then thanks to the wonderful assistance of Zoha from Al Ansar, who then encouraged me to, instead of just being in the studio, have the audience be a part of it, have the listeners be a part of it as well. And we decided to make the program live. So it's not just in studio. We are in fact asking listeners to come and be a part of our live studio audience. So it'll still be a normal radio show with these reciters, but you will be allowed to sit there and watch them recite as well. So it'll be like a live private performance or concert for yourself, if you want to call it that. And to just keep that spirit of Ramadan, some medleys of all the famous ones that they sing together. But the highlight of it is, besides that, is just getting ready for Eid, enjoying it. Also coincides with the 27th day of Ramadan. So just to keep that spirit, that feeling, lots of durood, lots of salawat, lots of qamaroon, and all those ones that the people enjoy reciting. But we're going to have complimentary mehndi there as well for people to put on their hands. We've got that going on, and we've got, thanks to our sales rep at Al Ansar, they are giving vouchers and things. So for people that come through, they're actually going to get things. So whoever comes, inshallah, limited quantities, of course, but we've got vouchers from the different sales rep who have got from their clients, because Al Ansar has had so much of barakah this month of Ramadan. So we're going to share that barakah and give back, inshallah.
But now, Salma, you told us it's not happening in the studio. You didn't tell us where it's happening.
Oh, it is happening at the conference center, the Al Ansar Conference Center. That is at the new building. So I had to make clear also on Breakfast Rush as well that it's not the old Al Ansar Hall at 189. It is going to be in our conference center, 207 West Road. So when you come in and you park, you've just got to walk up the steps on the side and you will see the hall that's there. It's fully covered, nice and cozy. And there's going to be lots of treats. Our sponsors of the Sunday Lounge will be there as well, with lots of things to give away. That is Get Cheeky. And there's lots of people that have been giving things. So I don't have the complete list with me, but inshallah, I'm sure it's going to be really exciting. It will be live on Facebook and YouTube, so people can watch it also from home if you cannot make it for whatever reason. But it'll be lovely to have people there, so that if you want the reciters to actually sing something or recite something, they could do it right there for you in person. And I think that will add a beautiful atmosphere to and more interaction. And that's what we want at the end of the day. We want the interaction with the listeners, and we want to meet you. We want to see you, and we want to know what you enjoy and what you love about Al Ansar as well.
Excellent. Seems very exciting. In fact, I'm excited already. And what time is this going to be? I know your Sunday Lounge program takes place between 10 and 12. What time is this particular event taking place?
Okay, we will be ready by that time, inshallah. Of course, on radio, we'll wait for news and those little things to finish. But by 10 o'clock, we hope to start just after 10. So, but on radio, we should be on between 10:15 and 12:15. But off air, even through the radio ad breaks and things like that. So if we have that live audience, we can continue. So we don't have to wait for the ad break to finish. So while we are off air, so the listeners that are there in the hall, in the venue, you will still get to hear the Naats will carry on, the recitations will carry on. But for the listeners at home, it will be between 10:15 and 12:15. But in the hall itself, we hope to start just after 10 and culminate by 12:30 or so, inshallah, depending on the crowd. The more of you that are there, and if you want to hear more and request more, we'll definitely have them recite more for us.
No, alhamdulillah. So what you've done, you're just telling the listeners, you guys better come over. Otherwise, you're going to miss out. You're going to be listening to ads, etc. when you're listening to radio. But if you're coming over, it'll be continuing. So I like your style, really. But no, alhamdulillah, a great initiative from the Sunday Lounge team and the Sanai Muhammad team. Alhamdulillah, it is something that is necessary, because at least now we can be interactive, we can get listener participation. Salma Qazi Wahab, I personally am very excited about this particular event, and I'm sure many of our co-presenters and our staff, etc., excited. We're looking forward to this event, inshallah ta'ala, and we're hoping that this is going to be the first of many that the Sunday Lounge is hosting.
Inshallah.
I want to wish you well. I want to wish you all the success, and I want to thank you, for having hosted and thought of this initiative, because alhamdulillah, as I say, it makes the listeners feel part of the radio station. After all, this is the listeners' radio station. Salma, I wish you well. Inshallah ta'ala, we look forward to the event tomorrow. I thank you for joining me this morning on the show, and we're about to take a break, so I have to say to you, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. But before you go, I know you always have a message for our listeners.
No, my message is for you, actually, because of all your hard work that you've actually been doing as the station manager. And you haven't been a part of any of my programs this Ramadan because you've been having to spread yourself so thin and go onto every show as possible, because everybody wants a piece of you in some way. But for this show tomorrow, inshallah, I hope to see you there. Everybody else that loves Naat and Nasheed, I hope to see each of you there tomorrow. And we get such wonderful messages from the listeners. So I'm hoping that those same regular listeners, I wish I could take all of their names, but there's so many of them that message the show every week, that watch on Facebook. We want to see all of you there tomorrow so we can meet you in person. That is my only message. Please come through in person so that we know this is what Radio Al Ansar means to you, and we hope to see everybody there tomorrow.
Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you.
We spoke to
Salam.
Salma Qazi Wahab, and she spoke to us about the event that she's having tomorrow, inshallah ta'ala, at 10 o'clock at the Al Ansar Conference Center.
Your perfect companion. Radio Al Ansar. Radio Al Ansar. Durban, 90.4 FM. Peter Maritzburg, 105.6 FM.
Shimmer, sparkle, captivate. Nothing less than a masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness. And every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and freezer card calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
Bait Al Emirati, a capsule collection of Emirati abayas, kandura, and thobes, and a wide range of kiddies abayas, all available at our luxury boutique at 111 Brickfield Road, Overport. Safe, secure, undercover parking is available, so visit us today. Follow us on Instagram at Bait Al Emirati, or contact us on 071 492 4413.
Swipe and save extra at Checkers Foods Cowie Park with eat specials like Cape Point Argentinian pink prawns, 2 kg box for $379.99, saving you 140 Rand. Crystal Valley salted butter, 500 grams by 2 for 120, saving you 20 Rand. Crystal Valley fresh cream, 250 mils by 2 for 38 Rand, saving you 10 Rand. And freshly baked garlic bread, 2 for only 25 Rand. Butchery, bakery and deli, certified halal by the NIHT. Valid until April 10th at Checkers Foods Cowie Park only.
Radio Al Ansar, Durban 90.4 FM, Peter Maritzburg 105.6 FM.
أحب الوفاء بشتى الصور أحب الوفي الأمين.
You're listening to Rise and Shine on Radio Al Ansar, and South Africa grapples with a confluence of economic challenges, including a significant hike in fuel prices, persistently high interest rates, and escalating utility costs. Citizens face an increasingly bleak financial outlook. With the rising cost of living and little relief in sight, many are bracing themselves for tougher times ahead. We have online with us Ms. Annelien van der Poel, the COO of Debt Rescue, and she'll be talking to us about the economic situation and the South Africa and the hardships that South Africans have to brace themselves for. Ms. Annelien van der Poel, good morning to you, and thank you for joining me on the program this morning.
Good morning, and good morning to all the listeners of Al Ansar. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Now, how are South Africans reacting to the recent surge, reacting to the recent surge in fuel prices and soaring utility costs, especially given the backdrop of stagnant salaries?
Well, I think the best way of describing it is a combination of shock and disbelief. South Africans are struggling. They've been struggling for a significant period of time financially. And these constant increases, whether it be inflation, whether it be electricity, whether it be petrol, each time this places a massive burden on our budgets, in our expenses. And it's just becoming more and more difficult for all of us to live every month. So it's definitely with absolute shock.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And what are some of the long-term implications of these economic hardships on the overall well-being and financial stability of South African households?
Well, the long-term effect is obviously that consumers are being pushed, over an edge where it's going to take them incredibly long to recover from the impact on their budgets. So what we are seeing is consumers are, for example, turning to more debt to literally put food on the table, ending up in debt spirals. So it's definitely a very negative financial implication on consumers in the long term.
Mm-hmm. Undoubtedly. And how are businesses navigating these economic challenges, particularly in terms of managing operational costs and retaining employees?
Well, I think it's very difficult for most employers out there at the moment, especially if we look at factors that are beyond their control. They're trying to keep their doors open, and then we have things like load shedding, which places a burden on them for potentially not being able to produce or incur further costs to keep their doors open and obviously keep their staff employed for as long as they can. We have one of the highest unemployment rates in the world, so we know that this is placing massive strain on businesses, and inevitably it does in a lot of cases, push businesses to the boundaries where they are starting to retrench or even closing their doors. So definitely very negative for them as well.
Mm-hmm. And do you see any light at the end of this tunnel? Because I know for the past few years this has been escalating. We all blamed it on COVID, on lockdown, etc. But this has been it's even pre-COVID. This has been building up, and now it seems to have reached a point where it is absolutely problematic.
Absolutely. And it's difficult to say. We were hoping that towards the middle of this year, we would start seeing the relief, at least in the form of interest rates coming down. The projections currently from the economists are that we're most likely only looking towards the end of the year. And it's not going to be as fast as it went. It's not going to decrease as fast as it increased. And unfortunately, it's the world, if we look at, the cost of living crisis that the whole world experienced, the rest of the world is tending to move towards, more stable inflation. Whereas, unfortunately, for the past three consecutive, CPI figures that have been released, they have actually gone more to the upward band of the 6%. We're moving closer there than to the 4.5 that the Reserve Bank wants. So we are in a definite slower recovery, and as long as that does not stabilize, the Reserve Bank is most definitely not going to be reducing interest rates. So I think the critical factor right now is we need to make sure that our electricity becomes stable, that it doesn't affect production. Obviously, we're looking at the weather, what impact that has on food production, etc., and see that does not worsen our situation, and we can get to that 4.5 so that we can hopefully start moving towards the interest rate reductions. But realistically speaking, it looks like the earliest we're going to see relief is going to be in the latter part of this year.
And what advice do you have for South African citizens in terms of budgeting, managing debt, navigating the current economic climate effectively?
I think more than ever, we have to plan. We have to be honest with ourselves. We have to literally go and look at our bank statements and say, where is my money going every month? Where are my opportunities? Where can I cut down? Where can I let go? Subscriptions I may have, services I may have, things I'm buying that I don't really realize the impact on my budget. Planning is everything. And really, even when it comes down to something as simple, but actually very effective as how I do my monthly budget shopping or my grocery shopping, that I really take my community papers, look where the specials are, and buy accordingly, really planning. And obviously, if you've done all of this, look for help, in the form of debt counseling to assist if you're over indebted and there is no further way for you to make changes to your lifestyle.
You mentioned debt counseling. How does debt counseling help? If one had to, if I'm in problems right now and I need some debt counseling, what's the procedure? How does it work?
So debt counselling is part of the National Credit Act, and it was brought in specifically to assist over-indebted consumers. So in other words, consumers who cannot afford to pay their debt and still maintain their normal living expenses. And what it does is it allows for a debt counsellor to negotiate on your behalf with all of your credit providers to reduce your monthly repayments, thus ensuring that you do not have to incur further debt and can cover your living expenses. So you pay a lesser amount monthly, albeit over a longer period of time. But at least the plan is to move towards getting out of debt and not getting more debt and then ending up in this vicious debt spiral. And one of the great things about debt counselling is once you've completed the process and you've repaid your debt, you're issued with a clearance certificate and you can re-enter the credit market. And that's one of consumers' biggest concerns is, can I ever get credit again? And the answer is an absolute yes. Once you've completed the process successfully, we know of thousands of consumers who've gone on to buy houses, vehicles, get new credit, etc.
Mm-hmm. And finally, as you know, the situation is desperate. The situation is critical. I might just, I was very tempted to say I'm overplaying it, but I know on the ground what the position is. And especially those that are earning fixed salaries, fixed incomes, it's problematic for them because whilst, prices are rising, inflation's escalating, etc., cost of living is rising, the salaries are still stagnant. How do they deal with it?
Well, right now, what we are seeing is a lot of people are doing a couple of things. Like I said, unfortunately, what we are seeing is them turning to credit. For example, in the forms of using credit cards, store cards, and what we refer to as payday loans to literally, like I said, either pay the bills or put the food on the table. And then we've got some consumers who obviously have started looking at side hustles, as we call them. Extra income. Possibly looking at what their crafts are, what their skills are, and doing this part time to just try and generate some additional income to try and plug some holes and make sure that they try and avoid the debt crisis. So South Africans are creative people, and we know we always come out on top. I think it's just a question of making sure that we are really cognizant of what our circumstances are and taking the best actions that we can based on that.
So if I understand you correctly, your message to our listeners is going to be hang in there and hopefully we're going to see some relief at the end of the year.
Absolutely. And just be incredibly aware and plan absolutely every cent that you have. It's going to be the only way we can brace this the next couple of months.
Annelien van der Poel, thank you very much for joining me on the program this morning and for having shared those thoughts with us. I wish you well. Enjoy the weekend. All the best to you. And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And to you as well.
Thank you. We spoke to Annelien van der Poel, the COO of Debt Rescue, and she spoke to us about the rising cost of living and the effect that it's having on the people itself. Time for us to listen to this nasheed. We'll continue after this, inshallah.
You are the only one, the messenger. And when life gets hard, it can get hard sometimes. You are the only one I will follow till I die. I keep you sunnah inside my soul. Pray it stays with me till I get old. Though the times will keep on changing, hearts will still be craving peace inside their soul. So I will pray that Allah will keep me on the straight path, holding me close, I'll never stray back. Keep it deep within my soul. Just wait for me to come home. Rasulullah, Habibullah, you are the way, the light we try to follow. You are the peace we need. Remember that with every hadith I read. You taught us our deeds are all we take with us when we die. I keep you sunnah inside my soul. Pray it stays with me till I get old. Though the times will keep on changing, hearts will still be craving peace inside their soul. So I will pray that Allah will keep me on the straight path, holding me close, I'll never stray back, keeping him deep within my soul.
060-904-1056 060-904-1056. We look forward to your WhatsApp messages, and the first message comes from Sister Leila Meta. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to the Ummah of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Peace, blessings and salutations be upon Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah for another blessing as it arises from sujood. Within today lies our hidden blessings. May blessings and peace always be upon you and your family. Ameen. Have a blessed and safe day of fasting. Salams and du'as. Sister Leila Meta and family. Ramadan inspiration says, Alhamdulillah for everything in our life, the good and the bad. Some were blessings and some were lessons. And the hadith and the dua for today is Bismillahi walhamdulillahi wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Quran guidance is to hope for it to be a means of guidance. Allah says it is a guidance for the believers. This is Surah Al-Baqarah verse 2. And in the hadith of Qudsi it says, O my slaves, all of you are astray except those whom I have guided, to seek guidance from me and I will guide you. Jazakallah khair for that message, Sister Leila Meta. Now, nearly a decade of conflict in Yemen has created one of the world's most severe humanitarian crises. The war, coupled with economic downturns and food insecurity, has left millions of people in dire need of assistance. This Ramadan, a group of young men has taken the spirit of giving into their own hands to provide iftar meals to those in need. Let's listen to this clip.
Connecting the Houthi-controlled Taiz Governorate to Aden Governorate, dedicated volunteers greet travelers with meals to ease their fast.
Every day from 12 noon until 5 p.m., we cook iftar dinner. From 5 p.m. onwards, we place these meals in their containers and we distribute them to the passengers on the street.
As the sun begins to set, volunteers distribute iftar along the main road. They deliver the meals in small vehicles to reach as many beneficiaries as possible. Al Qubtiya, like other roads in the region, is rife with the risk of attack. The treacherous road is littered with damage and cliffs, but that hasn't stopped the charity.
I am one of the people working in the kitchen. We prepare 300 or 400 meals daily. During Ramadan, the restaurants on the road are closed. This is how the idea of such an initiative came to our minds.
Yemen has been embroiled in civil war since 2014. Millions in the country are malnourished and facing famine. But initiatives like the volunteer iftar meals offer solidarity.
These young people are helping people. It's a useful initiative for the travelers passing through here. I hope they will continue.
Actions offering hope for Yemen in troubled times. Yusuf Sosar, TRT World.
It's now 20. I like this one. Zach says 8:37. So how do you? Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's now 22 minutes. Is that correct? 22 minutes to 9. And of course, you're listening to Rise and Shine. A message come from Mrs. Rahman. Assalamu alaikum, Faizal. On France 24 and International Affairs Executive said that most of the countries voted for Israel to stop the war. United States and Germany were the only two countries that didn't vote. She said Rishi Sunak from the UK is also selling arms to Israel. She said the countries that are selling arms to Israel should stop. Because of them, the Israelis are going on with the war. And she also said that Biden is the main person to supply the Israelis with arms, and she fails to understand why the Israelis are so important to him. Recently, some countries were sending food to Palestine. Since Monday, they stopped. On Sunday, the 31st of March, Netanyahu was admitted in hospital. He went for a hernia operation. He said that he will continue with the war once he's discharged from the hospital. Have a Mubarak weekend. And this comes from Mrs. Rahman. Jazakallah for that update, Mrs. Rahman. The only thing you didn't tell us was that when Netanyahu had that op at the hernia op, was it with or without anesthetic? You're listening to Rise and Shine, and of course, we're going to take a quick break.
Radio Al Ansar, 24/7, 365.
This Ramadan, join hands with Muslim hands to make a meaningful difference in the lives of millions worldwide. Your zakah and sadaqah can be the lifeline for those in need. Together, we can nourish the hungry in South Africa and across the globe, offer clean water to impoverished communities, empower women with sustainable livelihoods, and bring relief to families grappling with the aftermath of natural disasters and conflict. Be their beacon of hope today. Connect with us at muslimhands.org.za or dial 021 633 6413 to extend your support.
Experience elegance like never before with J. Junaid Jamshed's festive collection. From timeless classics to contemporary designs for men, women and kids. Alongside designer fragrances at 222 Felix Dlamini Road, Overport. Or shop online at za.junaidjamshed.com.
Join Show Mita's Travel on an amazing Shawwal Umrah trip. 10 nights from only 21,990 Rand per person sharing. Departing 17th and returning 27th April. Or depart 24th and return 4th May. Includes return flights from Johannesburg on Saudi Airlines, 5 nights in Makkah, 5 nights in Medina, Saudi visa and medical insurance. Contact Show Mita's Travel on 031 207 6987 or email info@mitastravel.co.za.
Al Ansar International. أحب الوفاء بشتى الصور أحب الوفي.
World Health Day is a global health awareness day celebrated on 7th April every year to highlight and bring awareness to the key elements that affect and contribute to the health outcomes of every nation around the world. The theme for World Health Day this year is My Health, My Right. It is championed by the World Health Organization to drive the agenda for the health rights of everyone, everywhere, so that everyone has access to quality health services, education, and information. And to discuss this concept, we have online with us Brother Ahmed Mayat, a clinical psychologist. Brother Ahmed, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and jazakallah khair for joining me in the program this morning.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah for having me on this morning.
It's an absolute pleasure, Brother Ahmed. Now, can you explain the significance of mental health in relation to overall well-being, especially on World Health Day?
Of course, focus on the fact that the theme of World Health Day is My Health, My Right. Focusing on the right to access to all kinds of health services, particularly mental health service. This is about recognizing the importance of mental health for overall well-being to all human beings. It's crucial to actually recognize it because as time has moved on, as world history has carried on, the priorities of our well-being has changed. Whereas before it was about survival, about putting food on the table, about having a job. Today it's more about thriving in all areas of our life, not just our physical health, but our mental well-being, our emotional well-being. And with the advent of social media and access to all kinds of information around the world, our mental health is at greater attack or greater vulnerability for attack. So this is about saying that we need access, culturally sensitive, religiously sensitive access to mental health care, whether it's medication, whether it's therapy, whether it's all these kinds of mental health services that the hospitals, that all kinds of healthcare services should incorporate. The significance of it is that this is not just about fighting mental illness, but maintaining mental health. And I think as time goes on, the recognition of that significance is really important. And it should be just as easily accessed as all kinds of physical healthcare services.
Now, what are some strategies that individuals can adopt to maintain good mental health in their daily lives?
Well, I mean, the strategies are sort of numerous, actually. You know, as we increase in more education regarding mental health, the resources to understand how we can adopt those strategies are numerous as well. You know, and I would say these kinds of strategies are actually so basic. These are things we can incorporate into our life, and we take these things for granted. But these are actually basic for actually understanding how important our overall well-being is. For example, you know, moving our bodies. We've become such a technologically advanced world that we forget the importance of actually going out into nature, exercising our bodies, moving our bodies. I'm not just talking about the gym. I'm talking about, you know, walking and, you know, physical activity, you know, going for runs every day, you know, going for an overall improvement in our physical health does directly, and the evidences for this affect our mental health as well. Diet, you know, these are things I tell my patients every day. You know, these are the things I ask my patients. You know, how is your physical health before we even get to why you're here, whether you're depressed or stressed or anxious. How is your physical health? Do you move your body? Do you eat healthy? Are you getting enough rest? How are you managing your stress? Are you interacting with people in your family? Are you using the social support in your life? Sleep, diet, exercise, social interaction. Those are the four sort of cornerstones of the stepping stones to strategies. Once those are in place, then you can start thinking about, okay, I need to look at why I'm suffering in my mental health, because physically I'm healthy. I feel good physically. And I think strategies start there.
Now, alhamdulillah, in South Africa, we're quite blessed that we have many psychologists, psychiatrists, psychotherapists, etc., etc., etc. But unfortunately, the biggest problem that we have is that there seems to be this stigma in society that, you know, if I get a heart attack, I can go to a cardiologist, no problem, it's fine. But if I have a mental problem and I'm going to see one of the, you know, the psychologists or psychiatrists, etc., then there's something wrong with me. Now, how do we deal with this stigma? Because there seems to be lots of misconceptions about mental health.
No, absolutely. No, I couldn't agree more in that mental illness or mental health problems immediately go to, when we start throwing words like crazy, mad, psycho, even those kinds of words. It's that, oh, you're going to a psychologist. These psychologists are spoken about in hushed tones. It's not something that is spoken about openly, because it's a sign of, oh, you are not coping, there is something wrong with you. And I think one of the biggest ways to combat that is education. We need more widespread education of what mental health actually is. What is the maintenance of mental health? You know, having access to that mental health services, it doesn't mean I'm crazy, it doesn't mean I'm mad. I'm maintaining that I have difficulty sometimes and I need someone to talk to. There's nothing wrong with me. The same way people spoke to friends before, they access their mental health care practitioners. And that's what's important, to break the stigma, educating ourselves. You know, doctors need to be more open to speaking about it. All kinds of healthcare practitioners need to be spoken, and famous people or public profiles, they need to share personal experiences of what it is to struggle with mental health. People that are listened to, whether it's ulama, whether it's well-known teachers, you know, these are the kinds of things, especially in the Islamic community, open up the dialogue about speaking about mental health.
Do you find that, you know, our community seems to be in denial when it comes to problems of mental health?
I've noticed a recent shift over the years in my practice. A lot of my clients are Muslim clients, concerned parents of teenagers who have anger management issues. It's I think the concern for parents is that their children are mentally healthy, but I understand that there is still a stigma in terms of this shouldn't be spoken about, and it's reserved only for your mental health care practitioner. Where even in families, it needs to be spoken about. If someone is having a struggle with anxiety or stress, it doesn't mean that they are mad or crazy. It just means that they need a little more help than others, and that is absolutely no problem with that.
Finally, Brother Ahmed, as a clinical psychologist, what message or advice would you like to share with listeners on World Health Day regarding prioritizing mental health and well-being?
The message is simple. It is as mental health is just as, if not more important than physical health. It's not just about the absence of mental illness, but it's about coping with the daily challenges of life. Allah created us in this dunya, and there are going to be challenges. We are told that. We are told that in the Quran. We are told that through the stories of the Anbiya, the Sahaba, that this world will have challenges. It will challenge mental health. It will challenge emotional health. And we need to recognize how important that is and access the mental health care when you need it. That is the core message of today.
Brother Ahmed Maid, Jazakallah khair for joining me in the program this morning, and to enjoy the rest of the weekend and have a wonderful Eid as well. Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam. Jazakallah for having me on. Absolute pleasure.
We spoke to Brother Ahmed Mayat, a clinical psychologist, and he spoke to us about the significance of mental health and, of course, about he spoke about the importance of mental health and accepting that as well. And of course, today being World Health Day, or rather, the 7th being the World Health Day, he highlighted the theme as well. Before we take a nasheed break, a message comes from Brother Yusuf Patel. He says, Laylatul Qadr, the night of decree. It's pay time. Cash up your lifetime 8 years plus. Guaranteed voucher tonight. May I, on this night of nights, seek your total forgiveness and a place in your heart for a little dua for me and my family, for the ummah and for peace on earth. May this night of power bless you and your family too. Do surrender your dear self to your Lord tonight. He wishes to demonstrate His love for you and reward you for your love and obedience to Him. For Him, heaven awaits your call. Shukran for your love, support, and respect and duas. You make my life wonderful and complete. Yusuf Patel and family. Allah SWT loves you, and so do I. And Brother Yusuf, we all love you too. And of course, we thank you for the wonderful messages that you share with us. Highly inspirational, and really we wish you well. Shukran, Brother Yusuf Patel.
يا خالق الإنسان يا رب يا رحمن شكرا يا رب شكرا يا منزل القرآن يا خالق الإنسان يا رب يا رحمن شكرا يا رب شكرا يا ربي شكرا هديت قلبي شكرا نورت دربي شكرا شكرا يا رب
Radio Al Ansar, 24/7, 365.
Where can you find the most affordable jewelry in the latest designs this Eid? But at the one and only Vauda Jewelers Pavilion. Save a whopping 50% on all 9-carat and 18-carat gold and diamond jewelry and watches too. So for all Eid gifting, choose the one and only
Vauda Jewelers Original. Shop 10 Checkers Hyper Pavilion.
031 265 1440. Oh, yeah.
Save the date for Saturday, April 27, 2024. Why, you may ask? Well, it's the Hajj Seminar from 7:45 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. at 207 West Road in Overport. Proudly brought to you by the Al Ansar Foundation and the Capital Group of Companies.
If your evening is like this,
Traffic is bumper to bumper on the highway. Show mama, I wash your windscreen very nice.
take your moment to enjoy that blissful alone time while you relax in a Satiskin bubble bath. Also available in shower gel and hand wash, the Satiskin range is pH balanced for satin soft skin. Satiskin, take your moment.
Don't miss out. Join Fatima Karim and Shagufta Khan this Saturday as we broadcast live from the Overport Fair at Overport Secondary Grounds, Brickfield Road from 12 to 2. Bring your friends, family and neighbours too. There's loads of fun, massive savings and giveaways too. Mark your calendar. The Overport Fair, 270 Brickfield Road. See you there.
Are you still looking for an Eid gift for your loved one? Well, Hershey's Springfield has you sorted. Catch Radio Al Ansar broadcasting live at Hershey's Springfield this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. as we unlock some amazing Eid specials. Spoil your loved one with one of our amazing deals on Dyson Airwrap, air fryers, food processors, Smeg appliances, and much, much more. Visit us at Hershey's Springfield this Saturday. See you there.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our hearts ache for our brothers and sisters in Gaza who are enduring unimaginable suffering. Despite ongoing bombardment and devastation, they continue to face the dire shortages of food, water, and essential supplies. The situation is dire, with reports of famine in the north and women and children dying from starvation. It is heartbreaking to think of families observing Ramadan without even the basic necessities to sustain them, whilst our tables at home will be laden with the best of foods at both Sehri and Iftar. I'm asking you to donate 100 rand or more so we can feed a starving Palestinian with a hot meal at Iftar. I urgently appeal to your generosity and compassion. The banking details, Al Ansar Relief Fund, the bank, Netbank, the account number 112-687-2814. The branch code is 198765. Netbank account number 112-687-2814. Branch code 198765. Al Ansar Relief Fund. May your generosity during this blessed month bring comfort and relief to those in need.
Your perfect companion, Radio Al Ansar.
प्यारी माँ प्यारे बाप मौला ने दिया अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह 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 अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह
A message comes from Mrs. Rahman. Assalamu alaikum, Faizal. The answer to your question is, I don't know. Great show. All the best to you and your wonderful Rise and Shine team. Jazakallah khair, Mrs. Rahman. Well, that question was a rhetorical question. Just to remind everybody that, surgery has been taking place in Gaza without anesthetics. And but Jazakallah khair for their response. Another WhatsApp message that comes through says, I asked an elderly gentleman, tell me, sir, in which field could I make a great career? He said with a smile, be a good human being. There's hope. There's huge opportunity in this area with very little competition. I like this. Be a good human being. There is a huge opportunity in this area and with very little competition. Thank you for that. I think it's an absolutely beautiful, beautiful message. And another message comes through says, be watchful. The grace of God appears suddenly. It comes without warning to an open heart. Jazakallah khair for these inspirational messages. They most definitely, they are inspiring. A morning in the protection of the ultimate protector and the mercy of our Creator, O Allah, decree for us on this day every good and bless us therein. Ameen. Shukran. 06090411056. We have like a minute to round up, and I can handle maybe and one or two messages that will come through. Okay, I get another message. It says that in the final days of Ramadan, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answer your secret prayers, wipe away your secret tears, erase your secret fears, lift you to the position you so dearly desire. Ameen. Shukran. Ameen. I thank you for that message as well. Undoubtedly, it is quite inspirational. And I think I see one more message coming through. Okay, as soon as that message comes through, it says... Okay, no, okay, I can't seem to open that message. Okay, it says, there are some people, okay, there's some people, when it comes to wazifa, zikr, Quran, recitation, prayer, etc., you will find them there. But the only problem is that they think they're better than everyone, not knowing that is amongst the illness of the heart, thinking you better than everyone. Thank you for that message as well. Time for me to round up. Zakaria Umar, thank you very much for having engineered for me this morning. Wasima Bucks, thank you for the attending to the logistics. And Hajja Kota, thank you for having produced this particular show. You're going to be listening to the news by Tabele Duma after this, and thereafter I'll be back with you on medical files. And today, inshallah ta'ala, we will be discussing prevention of kidney disease, and our guest this morning is going to be Dr. Ismail G.H. Randri, a nephrologist. Dr. Islam Ghulam Hussain Randri will be joining us, inshallah ta'ala, a specialist physician and nephrologist, but that's going to be after Tabele Duma with the news. So, to the listeners of Rise and Shine, it's Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh from myself, Faizal MJ Suleman. But do join me in the next 2 minutes, inshallah ta'ala, on Medical Files. हिफाजत करे वो है राज़ी तो राज़ी प्यारे मौला।